There are two phases to the art-making process. You making creative decisions from inside of your own personal dweeby little inner world that you cherish, putting it on the canvas, and then taking a step back from the canvas and picturing what your dweeby little inner world must look like when you're a stranger. Because that's the only way we know how to look at you as a stranger. If there's some part of your dweeby little inner world that you put on the canvas that you failed to translate, it will read as nonsense to the eyes of the rest of us, even if we don't mean anything by it. So not only do you have to picture yourself as a stranger, but picture how people in our general society see strangers in order to make something trendy to their eyes. Nobody knows how other people look at strangers. That's why we're all so insecure. So to be trendy at first and foremost, I have to imagine what it is to grow up in a world where you walk out your front door in the morning and are greeted visually by all of the vegetation and plant life that naturally grows there, rather than a highly dug up and cultivated or paved over environment like the one we're accustomed to. Imagine what that world was like, and picture what strangers look like in the modern world now that the part of our identity that develops when in sync with nature appears irrelevant to our eyes. If you wish to market yourself to that kind of modern person. But if we are still not trendy enough, we can picture a world where the average person hears music from a recorded device, mostly, and not live, in person, or they view motion picture more than they attend live theater, or they watch television/streaming more than they read books. So that part of the human identity that develops alongside live performance and literature looks irrelevant to our modern eyes. Therefore, to be trendy with this kind of person, you must picture what strangers look like from the eyes of that kind of person. But if we are still not trendy enough, we must imagine what strangers look like when we all grew up in a world where women already had the right to vote, and used it to undermine marriage, making that part of the human identity look less relevant. So nobody needs me as an adult man to take full legal and financial responsibility for women and children? Well, if that's what's trendy, so if I want to market myself to that kind of audience, I have to imagine what strangers look like to the eyes of that kind of person. But is there a way to free people from the hypnosis? Can you try to bring relevance back to the parts of our identity that we've lost touch with? That's what the art of past civilizations does for you. Reminds us what strangers looked like before we read our own identity as a blank sheet of paper.